What's going on, everybody? This is Abby here, and today, I always have special guests on, right? So everybody is some way always very special to me when I have a conversation. But I have my friend here, Alonna Gordon. We go way back to college, Johnson and Wales University days, the Charlotte campus, for those of you that know. But I have her here. She's doing some tremendous things in the world, and I wanted to make sure that I had the opportunity to unpack those things that she's doing. So, Alonna, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abby. It like you said, we go way, way back. We were just saying 2006 we met. Like, I can't even believe that we're old enough to say that we met
It's
that long
absolutely
ago.
crazy. Like we're really seeing how time is not waiting for any man, woman, boy, girl,
I
child.
know.
But I'm so happy to see your face. I miss you, girl. I miss you a lot.
I know. We used to have so much fun, get into so much stuff, and then now we're just
I don't know
old,
what she's talking
boring
about, folks. But either
adults.
way, Alana, can you please share with us, tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from and like what you're doing, and we're gonna dig into what you're doing present day. But who are you?
Sure. So my name is Alonna Gordon. I am from Baltimore, Maryland, born and raised here. I do have roots in the Virgin Islands. So my family is from St. Thomas. I did live there for some years. I started school there actually, but most of my life experiences are here in Baltimore, Maryland. And I am a licensed agent for the entire state of Maryland. And I like to put emphasis on that because I have so many people that say, "Oh, I thought you only sold in Baltimore." And I'm like, "No, I can sell you a house anywhere in the state of Maryland." So yes, I am a licensed realtor in Maryland. I've been licensed for going on 7 years now. And I am also the co-owner of our brokerage, Realty One Group Universal.
Oh, that's what's up. And it's sad to say, but yes, there is definitely like a Baltimore versus Maryland situation to where they think
Yes.
that they're not in the same state. Like
Oh, we're
I
not. We're
lived in the
not.
DMV.
Yes, we're
Okay, so
not. You're
but
either from
you're one
Baltimore.
of them. You be
Yes.
like, it's like, oh no, it's Baltimore and then it's Maryland, and you're just like, but
Exactly. So, even though Baltimore is a county and a city in Maryland, you're either from Baltimore or you're from those other places. It's not the
yeah,
same.
yeah. I had a kid that she was my student, and she's like never been to Baltimore, and I was like, it's up the street. What do you mean? It's you can accidentally get into Baltimore. And so
Hmm.
that was wild to me. But I mean, y'all do your thing, honestly. I understand. I
Yeah,
think
it's
I
two
understand. I'm
different
not sure.
worlds. You could be
But
from DC and it's like a completely separate world from Baltimore, and we're only about 40 minutes away from each other.
and like people have never ever been there. Like
Yeah.
people from DC have never been to Baltimore.
Hmm.
And you
Hmm.
can literally like trip and be there. Anyway, we're,
Yeah.
we're getting off topic.
Right.
Now I know a little bit about you. See, we spent some time together in college, right? Can
Hmm.
you tell us what you went to college for?
So I started off as an accounting major. The high school I went to a public all girls high school, actually, the only public all girls high school in the country. And I started my accounting classes there. So by the time I went to college, I was like, oh, I know this stuff. I'm good at it. I'm going to be an accounting major. I'm going to make all this money. Yeah, by the time I got to my junior year in college, I was like, I'm over this. I'm over this. I don't know why. I thought it made sense because I was never good in math. For some odd reason, I tripped into being good at accounting, but I am not good at math. So by junior year, I was like, I'm over it, not taking another finance class. So I switched to business management and finished my degree as a business management major, and then later went back and got a master's degree in public relations. How they relate, I don't know. And neither of them relate to what I'm doing now.
Oh, but they do, right? So I love asking that question about how people have intended or at least started with something and then are doing something completely different, right?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
I went to school for sports, entertainment, and event management. Ended up being a teacher, and now I am still doing something completely different. But what I always like to pull out is all of those things really help us as we walk and fulfill our
Mhm.
actual purpose whenever we find it, right?
Mhm.
Some people find it early, some people find it later, and still having the strength and the bravery to pursue it is dope.
Mhm.
But even
Yeah.
with you, like if with accounting and public relations, and now you're a realtor and you have a brokerage company, all of that stuff ties in. You have
It
experience
does.
somewhere.
It does. I will say, and I'm glad you made that point because I always tell younger people, that whole thing now, oh, you don't need to go to college. Come out of high school, start your business, you'll be great. And I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with that because, like you said, those experiences and everything that we learned while we were in college definitely shape who we are today. And, me and my business partner, when we started this company a year and a half ago, she had a background in finance. So she's in charge of all the financial stuff. Because of my background in business management, I'm able to grow and develop the business the way that we have been able to in the past year and a half. And I say all the time, we probably would not have gotten to this point if it wasn't for my business management background. So
Hmm.
for sure, it definitely plays a pivotal role in our success today.
And yeah, we can't. I think it was brought to my attention as I was doing an intensive class. Shout out to BJ. And it just helped me realize that a lot, if not all of our life experiences help us. Like, think about
Mm-hmm.
that, young person who was forced to go to spend time with grandma and grandpa was, had to cut the grass all the time or had to milk the cows or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like those life skills that we were getting from low key being forced to do certain things,
Mm-hmm.
or even the ability for us to build bonds and relationships going to college and being
Yes.
around people who were around our age or different walks of life to make something happen, to
Yep.
build relationships and long lasting relationships. Like, it's dope that we can speak literally after probably not talking to each other intentionally for
Mm-hmm.
10 plus years
Yep.
and still have fond memories of one another and being able to recall some of the strengths and qualities that we have with one another. Like,
Mm-hmm.
those are all skills that we put into the things that we do today.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely.
So, all right, so let's talk about the pivot, right? So you have the business management degree. After you decide like accounting's not for me, which as well, like anybody that's in college, you can switch.
You
It's
can.
cool.
Absolutely.
Switch, do the extra year, like get a job if your parents are upset about paying for it. My parents didn't pay for it. I have so much
I'm
student loans.
still paying
So
for it.
first of all, we let's just say I'm happy for the pause, okay? And I'm hoping the pause extends some more.
Let's just get rid of
But
them. Throw them in the trash.
who needs them? Who needs them? But okay, so what sparked your interest in realty? Like after all of that, I'm not sure, what jobs you had after that, but like what was just like, what's that? And I think I can do that.
So, I only did 1 year at Johnson and Wales with you guys. I wound up coming home because I got a job at Verizon. And so I finished school here in Maryland and I worked at Verizon for about 8.5, almost 9 years. I wound up, getting promoted constantly. And by the time I left, I was an operations manager there. But the reason for my leaving is because they did a huge layoff. And, it was like, oh, well, you can apply for another position or you can take this money and run, basically. And the company started to change for me, at least. Like I wasn't getting that same feeling that I used to get early on when I started working there. So it was already like, you're approaching 10 years here. You're not even 30 yet. Like it's time to start thinking about doing something different. So when they offered me that severance package to leave, I took the money and I ran. I was 28 years old at the time. That was the most money I had at one time, that lump sum that they gave me. So I was like, I'm taking a year off and I'm going to reevaluate my life and just enjoy life. Because again, not even 30 yet. And I feel like for the past almost 10 years, all I did was go to work every day. Like
Mm,
it felt like I grew up too fast. I had already bought a house by then. I just had so many responsibilities. So I took a year off and I went to school to get my real estate license. Played around with it though. By the time that end of the year came and my money was running out and I hadn't sold a house yet, I had to go back to work as a project manager then. And that job really showed me that, I needed to get serious about real estate And or if it wasn't real estate, I just needed to get serious about whatever it was that I was going to do to make my own money and work for myself. Because that second job that I went back to, they wound up doing a layoff 2.5 years later. So I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to keep giving my time to a company that's paying me minimal amount of money. And I made good money, but now with the money that I'm making in real estate, that was no money that I was making at those 9 to 5 jobs. And it's like, they're just completely in control of your life. The day they wake up and say, hey, we don't need this position or this person anymore, let's just tell them thanks for your service, see you later. So, I was like, I really don't want to keep putting myself in that situation. If I want to start over, that's one thing, but I don't like being forced to start over. So once I got laid off from that second job, that's when I decided I'm really going to take real estate serious at this point, because I'm in control of my business. I'm in control of how much money I make. If I don't want to do this anymore, that's on me. But no one's going to tell me, hey, we don't need you anymore. So that was really the pivot for me. That I was like, I just needed to realize that I can do something for myself and be in control of my life. So, that was the
Isn't
main
it
thing.
crazy how fast money runs out?
Baby. And again, I said that was the most money I had at one time, but I was traveling all summer and just doing stuff. And then I was like, "Oh, I got to go back and get another job." So yeah, but it was definitely a great experience. I'm glad I did it, because that year not working and just doing whatever it is that I felt like doing when I woke up that day, it really showed me that I don't have to be locked into working a 9 to 5 that I hate, and being subjected to whatever they say I have to do, however much they say they're going to pay me. If I was able to survive for a year, managing my money the right way and still live the life that I wanted to live without a job, why am I doing this? So that was really the pivot for me.
And I unfortunately I feel like not many people have that opportunity to be like, okay, I have this, bump it. Let me just figure
Hmm.
things out over the year. And so, I've been blessed with the opportunity as I, have made my pivot and leaned more into it. But just that room to
Yeah.
breathe and to be and to, to figure things out. And unfortunately, like the workforce has tricked us to be just like, no, like you go ahead, you work
Hmm.
them 30 years and then you can do what you want. You'd be like, but in between, like, what do you mean? I just have to report here every day. And then, yes, you can walk in and be like, we don't
Yeah.
need you anymore. Thank you for your service. Have a great day.
I always say that was the
Uh,
best thing that could have ever happened to me, getting laid off.
hmm
Because I mean, it was scary. And I literally just, and it's funny how it happens. I always say, no matter what you believe in, prayer, you should believe that prayer is real and it works. Because I was getting so frustrated. And so I kept praying, I'm like, I need to change. I need something, because I'm so comfortable here. I need something to push me to the next step. Came into work, they laid me off. So I'm like, thank you, God. Like, this was the thing that I needed. And again, it was scary, but I just trusted my gut and trusted what I prayed for, and knew that, whatever happened, I was going to figure out how to make it work. And I've just
I've
always
had
done that. Just figure it out.
I've had a similar experience to where I worked at a bank at one point in time, and I hated
Hmm.
it. It was terrible, and I was like, "Man, God, like I can't stand this job." And clear as day, I heard him say, "I never asked you to stay," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I never asked you to stay. Like, the only reason why you still there is
Cause
because
you.
you decided to keep
Hmm.
going. I'm like, okay, great. So I typed up on my little slider phone with the
Uh-huh.
keyboard. I typed up my letter of resignation. I went and I printed it and I turned in my my resignation that day. But it is sometimes those the nudges and the pushes that you need to
Yeah.
force you to figure it
Hmm.
out. I was like, interestingly enough, I was talking to somebody today and they were asking about the younger generation. Like, we getting old now, it's
I
crazy.
know.
They was asking about the younger generation, and the question was, do you think the younger generation is weak minded? I said, not in those exact
Hmm.
terms. Like I said, I feel like you will have a lot more vocabulary to be able to express and advocate for
Hmm.
yourself, and because of that, in a sense, I was like, I feel like y'all get away
Oh
with some
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But this vocabulary that we didn't have to be like, oh, I feel this, or I feel
Hmm.
this way, or I can't do this because of that. But I feel like because of the knowledge that you all have, it definitely has softened y'all up in some
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah. And then, the whole everything just has to be instant now. with the new generation. They want instant gratification for everything that they do. And, it's a gift and a curse. Like you said, the knowledge and the resources and the skills that they all have now to be able to express how they feel and just simply say, I don't want to do that and not have to. That's amazing. Like, I wish we had that. We were taught, like you said, go to school, go to college, graduate, get a job, work till you're 65, and then
Mm,
hope that you're still in good health to enjoy life after that. But I applaud the younger generation because they are fearless. They are.
mm-hmm.
I have agents that work under me and they're in their early to mid 20s, and they're what we call dual career because they're selling real estate and they still have a 9 to 5, and they're just like walking off their jobs and they're like, yeah, I just didn't like it. I'm like, I wish I had the balls. I stayed somewhere for 9 years that I didn't necessarily like, but that's what you were supposed to do. At least that's what we were taught. So yeah, I definitely applaud them. But they want things instantly, that may be, the downfall of it all for them.
I think the instantly and or they want things a specific
True.
way. And so it's just like, I want, my hamburger to be
Mm-hmm.
like this.
I don't want it
And
round.
I'm
I want
like,
it square.
and I'm like, I can't provide
Mm-hmm.
that for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what else
Yeah.
can we do? And they'd
Nothing.
be like, no, I want the joint square and that's
Mm-hmm.
it. And I'm just like, I can't
Mm-hmm.
help you. And then it's a whole situation. And then you involve social media. So it's just like, how can y'all think on your feet? Like, is there ways that we can compromise? But like, you can't want what you want quickly and then only want what you want with no
Yeah.
compromise in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
situation.
They're going
But if you get
they're
it,
on a
like,
one-way street where I think we have the ability to think more outside of the box. They're just like, no, this is where I'm going and that's that.
it's like if we get turned around, like we can go in reverse and be like, all right,
Yeah,
great.
let's turn
Like,
around, start this
okay,
over.
so you know, for instance, right? All right, when I got my license in high school, um, I had to drive a
Mhm.
stick because that's what we
Mhm.
had. My mom's like, well, if you want this license, you're gonna have to learn how to drive the stick. And like, it's not, I'm not about to borrow a friend's car that's an automatic, so you can learn how to drive the stick if you want
Mhm.
your license. And it was like, and guess what I did?
You made it work. Learned how to drive a stick.
I learned how
Yep.
to drive the stick, and
Yep.
I passed. Anywho. Like I said, no shade, no shade to younger generation. They're doing a wonderful job, but definitely my encouragement would be to continue to think on your feet and make those
Mhm.
pivots so you can make the and not necessarily even critical, but you can make decisions and find different ways to
Yep.
reach a goal, to reach an
Yep.
accomplishment, and not just be stuck on one
Mhm.
outcome and be upset and devastated when it doesn't
Mhm.
take place.
Yep.
There's other options that is, it might be better than
Yep.
what you thought, but
Absolutely.
make room for it. Make room. All right, so let as we round off that topic, I would like for you maybe to discuss like something that you overcame or fear or a challenge that happened that helped you continue down this particular path. So we spoke about the layoff and being able to manage your money, but even when it comes to real estate, like how have you been able to continue and build and be as successful as you are today?
So, I mean, we all thought when the pandemic hit that we were all going to have to go back and get jobs. It's like nobody's going to buy a house. It's COVID. We can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. But it was actually the exact opposite. So the anxiety that I had going into COVID just instantly disappeared because that was the best year that I had in real estate, and it was the busiest for anyone that's in this industry. Realtors, lenders, inspectors, appraisers, anyone that is, a partner in that process, we made a lot of money the past 2 years. So that wasn't as much of a struggle for me as I thought it would be. But just at the beginning of me transitioning into a full time agent, because again, I've been doing this almost 7 years, but I've only been full time since 2020, right before the start of the
Mm.
pandemic. That second job that I had, the layoff happened in February 2020 when, we were hearing about coronavirus, but we thought it was only going to be in China and never come here. So it was like, okay, got this layoff. And I'm like, this is it. I'm going to full-time real estate agent. We're going to open up this brokerage. Like, I'm going all in, we'll be good. And less than 30 days later, now we
The
have
world
a
gets shut
whole
down.
shutdown. The whole world has shut down. So, and then I was also a new mom. My daughter was 8 months old. So the scary part for me was, this is the first time I've been completely self-employed. I have an 8-month-old child, and COVID is going to kill all of us. That was my initial thought. You couldn't tell me that the zombie apocalypse wasn't, the next thing that was going to happen. So it just, I've always been the type of person where I've always been very determined. And I don't have a lot of patience, and that could be a gift or a curse for me. Because when things like that happen, when I come up against obstacles, I'm like, well, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to figure out how to get it done by doing whatever it is that I have to do. Like, by any means possible. If I want to purchase something, if I want to go somewhere, whatever it is, I don't take no at all for an answer. So I figure it out. And I make impulse decisions because I'm not, I don't have any patience. So I think that's what really helped me get over that fear of being a new mom in a global pandemic, being self-employed for the first time. I just had to really focus, and I'm like, I'm not going to be without. I still want to be able to do what I want to do. I don't want to empty my savings account. So let me just sit here for this minute and figure out, how do I go into, I guess, like hyperdrive at this point. Like, it was to the point where I had my infant baby on my hip showing houses. We're all masked up. And I'm like, but I'm going to get this done because I'm not going back to work again. I'm not going to make that same mistake I had made the year before. And life was just different because now at this point I was married with a new child. So I couldn't just be like, oh, I'm just going to sit around and do nothing and figure it out. I just, by whatever means necessary, I did what I had to do.
You had the motivation. That's
Definitely.
dope. That's dope. Mm. All right. So another question that I have for you is, I think a lot of people don't necessarily know what realtors do,
Mm-hmm.
right? I feel like y'all do so much more than just holding the keys or the passcodes to go look at
Yes.
houses and showing people and be like, you want it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? Right? So can you kind of break down like what realtors do, and then also what it means to be a realtor, but then also like a brokerage? I'd love to
Sure.
know more about
So
that.
I actually have this shirt that I sometimes wear when I'm showing houses, and it says realtor, but then it's a line going through that, and it has wedding planner, best friend, therapist, like all of the, because we essentially become all of those things. So, in a perfect scenario, if I'm working with someone that's purchasing a house, we may see each other and talk to each other almost every day for anywhere between 30 to 60 days, sometimes
Mm,
months, depending on how long the process may take. So in that time frame that I'm working with you, I essentially become all of those things. Because if you think about it, this is one of the biggest purchases you're going to make. A couple $100,000 buying a house. So it's very stressful. It's high anxiety. Um, and it's something that you, as the consumer, are very unfamiliar with, especially as a first time buyer. You know nothing about the process. So you're putting all of your trust into me as your realtor. So, yeah, I'm, going and showing you these beautiful houses and taking you on these tours. But I'm also talking you off the ledge once we go under contract and you're thinking you have buyer's remorse, or, you're just thinking the worst is going to come out of everything in this home. So, yeah. And I have so many clients where they just kind of like latch to me, like years later after I've sold them a house. They're like, oh, come over, we're having a barbecue with the family. Like that, I just kind of become like part of the family. So yeah, we're much more than someone that just takes you and shows you pretty houses. Become like an extended part of your family and your therapist for those few months that we're working with you. Mm-hmm.
mercy, mercy. That's awesome. Okay, so walk us through like what a brokerage is, and how maybe you got interested in having your own
So
brokerage
the
as well.
brokerage is pretty much the firm, the company that you affiliate with as a realtor. So when you get licensed, you are licensed as an individual contractor. So you're pretty much working for yourself as a real estate agent, but you are required to affiliate with a broker and a brokerage. So our brokerage is Realty One Group Universal. I'm not the broker. My business partner is actually the broker. I'm an associate broker. But in order to practice real estate, you have to affiliate with the company where they pretty much manage you and oversee, the day to day, make sure you're not breaking any laws or anything like that. Um, and so we have close to 50 agents here, and my responsibility at the brokerage is to recruit, train, and develop the agents. So we have a lot of agents that are brand new to the industry. So I'm pretty much teaching them from start to finish how to become a successful agent, how to grow your business to the point where you're getting business from referrals and not necessarily having to spend a ton of money marketing yourself to get clients. And I'm sorry, I kind of missed I'm losing my train of thought. So you just wanted to know what the brokerage was, right?
Yeah, no, I think it's what I'm gathering from it is the affiliation. It is
Yes.
the in a sense like the house
Right.
that you're associated with.
And then you said, why did I want to start my own?
Yeah.
So
Why did like what because you were an independent agent, like what prompted you to start a brokerage as well?
So when I first started, I was so affiliated with a brokerage that we would call a boutique brokerage. So really small, owned by one sole person, and it was maybe like 10 of us, 10 agents affiliated with
Mm-hmm.
that brokerage. And I learned a lot there, but as my experience and my business started to grow, I realized that there was a lot that I still needed that I couldn't get
Mm-hmm.
from that brokerage. So when the opportunity presented itself for me and my business partner to explore the idea to start our own, it was like, okay, all of the things that we needed as new agents that we didn't get, we want to be able to give that to, the next group of agents coming up under us, because this industry can pretty much swallow you up and spit you out. There you can
Mm-hmm.
get rich as a working as a real estate agent, or you can make no money working as a real estate agent. So it was really just, because I'm a self-starter and I've always been pretty self-sufficient. I'm going to go after whatever it is that I need. I'm going to learn what I need to learn. Everyone is not like that. So the goal was, let's create something where we can give that opportunity to all of the agents that we used to come across where they're like, we just need help, but we don't have the resources where we are. So it's like, let's give them that, because, we
Mm.
remember what it felt like for us starting out at that point.
That's wonderful. I mean, that's where it all begins. Like, honestly, service is like the best way to guarantee
Yep.
success, and it's not necessarily monetary success, although it can come with it. But the attention and the support that you
Mm-hmm.
get by
Yep.
giving the information that people are looking for and yearning for and answering those questions is will keep you relevant and being mentioned in rooms and
Absolutely.
spaces
Absolutely.
for a very long
And
time.
because of that, I see how, yet again, my business is changing. So last year was my best year yet. Again, with COVID, I sold $7.1 million worth of real estate last year. And then this year, I was just saying yesterday, like, wow, I'm behind the curve. I'm behind where I was last year already. But going into 2022, especially with almost 50 agents on our roster, I said, this year I'm going to really focus on developing the newer agents. I'm still going to sell, to buyers and sellers, but that's going to kind of take a backseat to everything else that I need to do. We're going into 2 years of owning this brokerage, and we've done well, but what is it going to take to get us to the next step? So that's really been my focus this year. And because of those small changes that I've made, like you just said, my name is now being mentioned in rooms where I'm just like, oh, you want me to participate in that? Or you want me to be on this board? And I'm just like, I'm flattered. Because, so most people in this industry, it takes them to be, selling real estate for 10 and 20 years before they get the type of opportunities that I'm now being offered. So everything is working out the way it should. And, I'm just happy, and I'm going to just keep trusting the process.
Congratulations in
Thank you.
advance. That's awesome. All right, so I thank you so much for the time that you spent with me thus far. And before we wrap things up, I have to grab 3 tips from you. And you can share it in whatever lane or facet that you want to share it. whether you're speaking to everybody or you're speaking to aspiring realtors, whatever. But, whatever's on your heart for 3 tips for individuals to take and apply next day, next week.
So it won't be specific to realtors. This is just for anyone that's trying to figure out what that next step in their life is. Don't procrastinate. So start now. Start where you are. That was the biggest thing for me, and I had to learn. We are going to be our biggest downfall because we're talking ourselves out of things. We're always saying, "I'm not ready. It's not perfect yet." It does not have to be perfect. You're going to grow when you're supposed to. So just start whatever it is that you want to start. Just do it now. The second thing, have laser focus. Like whatever it is that you want to do or whatever person that you want to be, you need to laser in on that and stay completely focused, or else it's just not going to happen, or maybe won't happen the way that it should. Just, kind of tune out all the distractions. I always tell people, when I was on this journey, all of my friends were like, "Where are you? You don't hang out, you don't do this, you don't do that." And I'm like, nope, I gotta go, and I'm focused. It wasn't no eating out, wasn't any shopping, any vacation, none of that. I did what I was supposed to do to get to this point where now I can do what it is that I want to do. And the third thing, trust the process. Like I said earlier, everything happens the way it should, when it should. And it's just, there's divine reason for everything. Pray and just trust that everything will work out the way it should.
That's it. This is why I love having these conversations, because it's so reassuring, and it's medicine for me to be like,
It
everything
does.
happens in its own time.
Absolutely.
I literally just posted something today and just talked about the process of doing something. How, if, for example, like I was like, I've been working on my basketball shot for years. I was like, and I still love it. It's been years. But it's like, who am I to pick up something brand new and expect for me to understand it and get it right the next day? I was like, if it's something that I still love and practice to this day, years and years later, I need to give myself the space and the grace to continue to nurture that thing that I'm interested in
Yes.
present day, and give it the space and time to mature as well.
Give yourself grace. That's so important.
Well, listen, can you please share with us all of the places and spaces that we can follow, support, reach out if you're in the entire state of Maryland, not just Baltimore? The
Entire
entire,
state
what
of
Maryland is
Maryland.
actually like shaped kind of like this, the entire state of Maryland, and you are looking for a realtor, like, tell us how we can get in contact with you for all of that good stuff.
Absolutely. So, yes, if you're looking to buy, sell, rent, invest, whatever it is involving real estate, I am your girl. You can follow me on Instagram at Alonna Monet. That's spelled ALONNAMONEE. You'll also be able to access my business page from that social media page as well. On Facebook, I'm Alonna Gordon Sells Homes. I will be launching a YouTube channel shortly. I'm trying to get my social media game up. But yeah, best place to reach me is Instagram. All of my contact information is there, phone number, email. Again, you're looking to buy or sell, do not make a real estate move without me if you're in Maryland.
The whole state of Maryland.
The whole
Not
state.
just, I know she sounds Baltimore. She got the Baltimore accent.
Oh, I'm
but it's not just Baltimore. That's the only time y'all actually get along. This is like, oh no, I'll come out of Baltimore to sell you a home in Fort Washington. That's no problem.
Most of my sales actually aren't even in Baltimore. They're in the surrounding counties. So yeah, I'm your girl.
Listen, Alonna, thank you so much for coming on with me today. This has been a pleasure to see and to catch up with you. I can't wait to see more of the awesome things that you're doing.
I know.
Let's go.
I'm coming over there. I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'll be here. God willing, I'll be here. Or I'll come back and we're going to hang out. Well,
yes. Thank you so much, Abby.
Thank you. Listen, folks, we want to thank you for spending some time with us and listening today. We want to encourage you to just, keep moving. Do what you have to do. And then, give yourself grace and the time to see it to fruition. Don't quit. Be strong-willed within it, and then everything will come to pass as it should. If you are a unicorn yourself, or you know somebody else that's a unicorn, I'd love to have a conversation with them. Please make sure you DM me, or you can, comment below. But I love to continue to have these conversations to encourage not only myself, but you all. Until next time, we will see you.